I'm Brian Winnekins from the NAFB convention in Kansas City, and our broadcasts on Real Country 1430 WRDN, being brought to you in part by Annabis Silo of Durand, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, and Growth Energy. Joining us now is Roger Johnson. He's president of National Farmers Union, and we are going to talk a little bit about country of origin labeling and the situation with Canada and the WTO. So we have COOL, C-O-O-L, and WTO, and all kinds of other acronyms we're going to talk about. But first, country of origin labeling with Canada. They're threatening. We had to make some changes to the rules, and USDA has done that, right?
They have. In fact, the Canadians and Mexicans, along with the big packers in this country, brought a case against the U.S. to the WTO. And initially, we lost that case. And essentially what the WTO said in that case and on appeal was the law is perfectly fine. Most countries in the WTO, in fact, have similar country of origin labeling laws. So they didn't find a problem with the law. They found fault with how it was implemented. In that, the implementation rules were too vague. They didn't convey clear, crisp information to consumers. Even though they gathered the information on the processing side, they didn't convey it. So USDA issued a new rule that, in our judgment, in USDA's judgment, in USTR, another acronym, the trade representative, the U.S. official that negotiates with the WTO, in their opinion, will be fully compliant with the WTO requirements. And that rule essentially just provides more clear, crisp information to the consumers. Consumers for years have wanted to know. They overwhelmingly, in survey after survey, focus group after focus group, say, we want to know where our food comes from. Farmers and ranchers are proud of that. We want them to know.
Now, Canada is saying that these rules, even the changes, are wrong, and that if they stay in effect, they're going to retaliate, but it's really not their decision, right?
Well, it isn't. And in fact, interestingly, in the court proceeding, which, by the way, was also lost, many of these same interest groups sued USDA over the rules. And in the first decision out of the court, lost on every single count. But as a part of that process, there's testimony in the court record that very clearly says the Canadians are not going to threaten retaliation unless and until they are granted that right by the WTO. They've not been granted that right. I don't think they ever will be granted the right to retaliate because I think the rules are going to bring us fully into compliance, and that's the end of the story. And so for them to be talking now about threatening retaliation, that is an effort to try to force the Congress to take this issue up at the last minute under cover of darkness in the Farm Bill deliberations and gut the law, which the WTO says is fine. The law is not the problem. But the Canadians are doing this right now because they don't like this law or the rule, and they would prefer that it go away. And the only way they're going to get it to go away is to change the law. And we will vehemently oppose that. And that is one of the hot issues that the negotiators in the Farm Bill Conference Committee right now are talking about.
Ken, with Roger Johnson from National Farmers Union. Again, Roger, thank you for joining us.
Good to be with you, Brian.
From the NAFB convention in Kansas City, I'm Brian Winnekins.